Okay, so today is like a day 4. Okay, so today we'll try to see one demo. Okay, again one of the demo. So in this demo we'll try to read streaming data. So I was telling that today we would be reading streaming data from Twitter. Okay, so that's what today we'll be demonstrating. Okay, let's see how to do that. Okay, I already have my Twitter account created. Okay, and I have few things inside that. Okay, and those few things are nothing but my consumer key, then the consumer access, then I have a secret token, and I have secret access token. Whenever you create a Twitter developer account, not a normal Twitter account, Twitter developer account, and once your Twitter developer account is activated, you have to create a what you have to create? You have to create a project, or you have to create an app. Once you create this, you get these 4 things. What is those 4 things? Consumer key, consumer access, secret token, and secret access token. Okay. So now these are like personal credentials. I will not be able to share this. So hence I'm showing you, because programmatically I would be reading this from somewhere. Okay. That is like in my file system. I have kept that, but I would be using that. So that is what I wanted to tell you. Let's make a move. Okay. So I've already created a project. Okay. I'll start the coding right from the scratch. So how did we started in day 1? Okay. So here I'll show you a concepts of calling one object from another object. Okay, so I'll be creating 2 objects. In Scala programming, everything is an object. Like in Java, everything is class. Okay, so here in Scala, everything is an object. Okay, so what I will try to do is I will try to create 2 objects, and I will call one object into another object. Okay, so that's what we'll try to see today. So let me create a new object, and what I'll do is I'll try to name this as let's say my credentials, or in spite of my credentials, because here I would be reading. Yeah, that's fine. So that's not an issue of naming convention, should not be an issue. So whatever I can name, it's depending on the requirement as of now which comes to my mind. Okay, cool. So what I'll try to do here in this program, okay, in this object, I'll try to create 2 methods. Okay, the first method which will be there, that would read my credentials. Second method would be there for my logging method, and these 2 methods I will be calling in the another object in the main method. Okay, that's what the scenario is. Let's do that. Okay, so the first method which I am trying to create is, let's say I want to set up my logging level. Okay, that is the first method which I am trying to create. Okay, equals to, so it will be returning nothing, so it's a unit. Okay, so that's fine. Cool. Let me just say something. So val root logger equals to, so I'm trying to use a logger, and it will complain me, yes, not found value logger. So like in day 1, if you have attended, same way we need to say, we need to import certain packages. org.apache.log4j, I guess. I think this typo error is there, hence it is not coming. Okay, so if you are in between and if the prompt is not coming, there are 2 ways. Either you can go back, you can press dot, and then it will try to give you. Okay, sometimes what happens, if you are in between, you can just press control space. Okay, so shortcuts to play with your things. Cool, that is done. So the first thing what I would need is, there are 2 things I will need. So which level of logger I would be using, and the logger. Okay, so these are the two things which I'll need. So hopefully that should error go. And it is telling is object log4.logger is not a value. Okay, that's fine, not an issue. We'll try to write that, and hopefully it should go. Get root logger. Okay, okay, now the error is gone, and I will set this to an error. Okay, set level, and set this level to a level dot error. No need of this. Okay, so what I have done is I have created one method. Okay, what this method will do, this method will set up my logging, which means that whenever we try to run the program, there are log4j properties, different log4j properties like info, warning, fatal, okay, error, and so I have just taken an error. So whenever I see the error, only those messages I need to have in my console. That is what it says. Okay. Now, as I told, the other method would be to read my Twitter credentials. Okay. So maybe once the session is like completed, I'll show you how the file looks like. So as of now, let me just set up my credentials. Okay. So let's say set up Twitter credentials. Okay, credential, any name you can give, it's not necessary like you need to give this, so I can just say set up credentials also, your call. Okay, cool. So let's move ahead and let's move ahead. Okay, so what I would be doing is I need to read credentials, and these credentials are present in a file. Okay, let me stop the recording, resume the recording. So now you have seen it was just a normal text file. Okay, and the text file, so how was the data? So the data was like this, so space, and let's say something is there. Okay, let's say something is there. Okay, let's say something is there, and let's say something is there. This is how my file is like, we have just seen now. Okay, so what I want is I want to read this file, and this file name is nothing but my twitter.txt. This is how I have named this. Okay, this is my file. I want to read this. So how I can read in a Scala way? There is a different mechanism how you can read the files in Scala way, and there is a different mechanism how we can read a file in a Spark way. Okay, so in the first session I have shown in a Spark way. Today we'll try to do in a Scala way. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll try to write a for loop. Okay, so in this for loop, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hover means I'm trying to iterate in every line. That is what I'm trying to do, iterate every line. So for that, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to write over here line in, and it does not means that this line belongs to this. Yes, it means that, but here I can write X also, anything I can write, but just I'm writing a line just to, and this is a generator symbol which I'm trying to give. Okay, so from this I just need to use a source method. Again, it will tell this is not available. The reason being is we need to import from Scala. Okay, because I'm trying to use my Scala way. So under Scala I have everything. So if I just say control, so Scala IO source. Okay, so now this error should go once I write the syntax. Under my source package, I have a method called from file. Okay, so I'll try to use from file. It should be in camel case. Okay, so from file, and I need to give the path of the file. Okay, I know what is the path of my twitter.txt. So that is nothing but d colon data in. Then I think it is data in. Okay, so under it's data in, and let's say Twitter, it's like in small case, twitter.txt. Okay, so this is the file name. Now whenever the file it comes, what it does is, can you see the method what it is giving me? Method from file, and can you see the output, sorry, can you see the return what it is giving? It is giving me as a buffered source. Okay, I don't want a buffered source, I want a text out of it. So to get a text out of it, we need to say getLines method. Okay, I'm trying to use a getLines method. Done. So this is the first part. The for loop, what it will do, it will try to iterate line by line. Okay, and it will try to get this entire as a text or getLines, which I have done over here. Okay, so the loop is done. Let me write some logic. Okay, so let me write some fields, fields equals to. Okay, so whatever the data is coming in this line, okay, if you see this file, so this is separated by some space. Okay, so what I need to do is I just need to say split this, please split it for me. Okay, on the basis of space. Cool, that is done. Now the file is splitted, so it will be like this will be my first argument, or this will be my first field, and this is my second field. So I want to get that. How I will get that? Programmatically. So if people are from programming background, specifically a little like knowledge of oops, so in Java we have system properties. So I'll make use of my system properties. What are those system properties? Typo here. So SYSTEM. What are those system properties? So I will be using a set property. Okay, so I'll be using a set property. It is asking for key event value. The key which I am writing is by default. Okay, this is like Twitter 4J. Okay, O auth. This is, you don't need to do anything. By default this will be same only. Okay, whenever you are trying to write the credentials, so this will be same only. And the value what I need to do is, and after that, so if you just write Twitter 4j.4 auth, I need to have everything in one go. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to pass all my 4 arguments to this Twitter 4j authentication. So I need to concatenate that. How I can concatenate? With a plus symbol. Okay, that's how we concatenate it. Okay, so the fields, so the line is getting splitted, right? So the line is getting splitted where I'm getting the values over here. So the values are getting over here. So this is my field 1 and this is my field 2. The indexing starts from 0. So hence I will say over here fields of 0 comma fields of 1. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so that is done, and that should be fine with me. And again here I should have written one small if condition also. Okay, let's write now. Not an issue, we can twist the code anytime. So let's say if fields dot length, I always make a typo error over here. So if the fields length equals to 2, okay, if this condition is true, then only go inside this, else don't go inside that. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, before entering, I'm trying to test a condition, which means that in this field I should only get 2 values. If I'm getting more than 2 values, I can write my try exception block also, but I'm not writing that as of now. Or I can write my else block also, something, but as of now let's not go into that. Okay, so what I have done, simple, I've just created 2 methods. The first method is for my logging method, and the second method is, should have been started from here, the second method is setup credentials. Okay, so my first part is done. Now in the second part, what I will try to do is, I will be creating one more object. Okay, and I will be reading the streaming data. Okay, let's do that. Right click, new, and an object. Okay, here I would say let's try to read some whatever the data is being tweeted around the globe, and let's say I want to find out the top 10 hashtag. I can say, let's say popular, let's say, yeah, I can just say popular 10 hashtags. Okay, hashtags, spelling, cool. Any name you can give, it's your call, not necessarily the names which I am giving, you need to give those only. Cool, let's make a move. Now I'll try to write a main over here, because I will be performing all my functionalities in this. Okay, so it's like args of array of string. Okay, cool. Now what I'll try to do is, the first thing is, whatever I have configured over here, okay, I'll try to call that over here. Okay, so I will, first thing is, if you see this setup credentials, I need to get this, because I will be using my credentials to read the data from Twitter, so I need to call that over here. Okay, so it is telling some error. What is that error? Not found value credentials. Definitely it will not be available, because that is in another object, right? So what you need to do is, you need to import this object in another object. Okay, so what I will try to do, import and all the methods inside that. Now the error is gone. Okay, so what here I'm trying to do, I'm trying to read my credentials. To be precise, I'm trying to read my Twitter credentials. Okay, done. Now I have to create a streaming context. Now if people are aware of like Spark or maybe a newbie, so whenever we want to write some Spark framework or Spark application using Scala language or Python language, there is a initiator or the entry point. Okay, so that is nothing but your Spark context or your Spark session. Similarly, if you want to make an entry point in your Spark streaming, so there is an entry point which is SSC, Spark, which stands for S, then again S for streaming and C for context. Okay, so I need to do that. So I'll not write all these things, I'll just write coding again. So I'll do all the small things. So Spark streaming context equals to, okay, so I need to create a new streaming context. So how we create like new Spark conf etc. So now I need to create a streaming context because I am reading the streaming data, hence for that. Okay, so for the streaming context, it is telling me something, not found type context. So let's import that as well. Import org.apache.spark under SQL or streaming it should be, and streaming context, yes. Okay, so that error should go. Yeah, error had gone. It is telling me that overloaded method because we have not provided the arguments to this constructor, so that is fine. So the streaming context is there. Okay, so I need to pass certain things to it. Let's pass few things. So normally we pass like local. So as of now I'm running in my local mode. Okay, in production cluster it could be yarn, either it could be client or cluster. And what will be my application name? Let's say reading Twitter data, anything you can give. Okay, and you can give this also over here. Okay, your call. So I'm trying to read the Twitter. How you want to read the Twitter data? So after every some amount of interval of time. So I want to read after every 1 second. I think there is a typo error. It should be seconds. And it is telling some error, not found value seconds. Cool. So I think I need to import this as well. So import org.apache.spark.streaming.seco. Does it have this? Yes, it does have. So the error is gone. Cool. So that is done. Now once the streaming context is ready for me, okay, so once the streaming context is ready, if I get certain issues in my program, so there will be a lot of warnings and errors coming. So I don't want that. Remember, so I have created a method for that. That is nothing but my setup logging. Let me take that and let me call this over here. Okay, so let me just remove this spaces, so that is not needed, so otherwise the program will go a little down. And let me remove this. This is also like just for understanding purpose. And is there any typo error? Yeah, so let's make it logging. Save this and let's make this logging as well. Okay, so appropriately. Now what we have done is we have created an object. Okay, so in this object what we have done, we have set up like a logging level and we are trying to read the credentials. Okay, so from this object I am trying to read the data, so hence I am trying to call my credentials from this object into this object. Okay, and the same way my logging level, and I have set up my Spark streaming context. Cool. So this is done. Once this is done, then I need to start reading my data from my Twitter. Okay, so I can do many things. So let's do with small things. So let's say I'm trying to do some tweets. Okay, so these are just variables names. I can give any variable names of my choice. Okay, so it does not mean when I'm writing tweets, so I will be getting the tweets. I can write my name also over here. So val tweets equals to, so there is some method which I need to say, so that is nothing but Twitter utils. Okay, so again it is telling me not found value. Yes, why? Because I need to import that. So import org.apache.spark.streaming. This is available under Twitter because we are trying to use something related to Twitter. So this is Twitter utils. Okay, So in this Twitter utils, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to do create stream. Okay, I'm trying to create a stream, and I'm trying to pass this streaming context, which is nothing but reading the data every 1 second. So I'm passing this streaming context, and the rest of the credentials I'm passing it as none. Okay, so if you just hover over it, it is expecting 4 things. The first is streaming context. Twitter authentication is optional, but if you remember, we have already made a method for this, and we are trying to read that from a particular file through a programmatic way. I've already explained a little earlier. Okay, so hence I'm not passing the second argument. Filter, as of now, not as required, and if you take the fourth argument, storage level, that is nothing but the error. So the logging level, again, we have handled over here. If you're not handling this over here, you can pass those as an argument over here. Okay, it's way of writing code, how you are comfortable of writing the code. Okay, cool. So now that is done. Now logging is done, my tweets are done, and if you hover over this, so what it is giving me, it is giving me receiver input D streams as a status. Okay, so I need to convert this into a string, because I don't know what is this status. I just understand text or numbers or something, because I don't understand what is status. Okay, for that what I'll have to do is, let's write status equals to, let's take this. Okay, and after taking this, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to apply a map function x of lambda and x dot get text method I'm trying to use. Okay, now if I hover over this, I'm getting D stream of a string. So whatever the Twitter data which I would be getting now, will be in the form of D streams. Okay, just give me a second. So needed to close the door. Okay, done. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to read the data D streams. Now what is D streams? Okay, so this is part of your Spark streaming. So D streams are nothing but your discretized streams, which means that the data would be received in the form of micro batch, and that is nothing but your RDDs. Okay, again, that is a concept which we need to understand, but let's not go into that depth. So cool. So now what I have done is I have read this, I am able to get the text. Okay, so once I am able to get the data in the text format, I will try to find out some words. Okay, or first of all, I'll try to, let's say what I can do. Okay, so what I'll try to find is tweet words. So let me write in a camel case. Okay, so whatever the status as a text which I am trying to get, okay, I'm trying to do apply a flat map. Okay, flat map again is a function which flattens the data, and it applies a map function on top of that. So x of, okay, then x dot split, and I will be splitting on the basis of the data should come in the basis of this. Okay, hopefully the data should be like this. Okay, so what we are trying to do is in this Twitter streaming, so as of now I have just created a stream, and I have created a text, and I'm trying to split the data. Once I have splitted the data on the basis of, let's say, some spaces, okay, then I'm trying to find out the hashtags. Okay, so let's try to find out the hashtags. Okay, when I'm trying to find out the hashtags, so let me take that and let me just try to filter some words. Okay, so we all know whenever we try to tweet on the Twitter, so it is always starting with like a hash symbol. So that is what I'm trying to do over here. Okay, so x of lambda, okay, x dot starts with, okay, and I just need to pass my hash over here. Okay, so it is giving some error. Expected this. Okay, so I have not closed this, so that is why it is giving me an error. That's gone. Okay, so just read the error and the error would go. So it always give you what are the issues. Okay, that's fine. Now what we have done is whatever the data is being tweeted with the hash, now I am able to get that in this hashtags. Okay, now when I am able to get that in this, I will try to segregate that in a word. Okay, so how will I will try to segregate in a key value pair. Okay, so hash key value equals to, let me bring that over here. Whoops. Let me bring that over here. Okay, then I will try to say again, I'll try to apply a map function with lambda, and I would say x comma 1. Okay, so I'm trying to say this is my word, whatever the tweet will be starting from hash, and I'm giving assigning as a hard-coded one. Now if you see, I'm trying to write every logic in a single line. I could have written in one line also. Okay, it's way of writing code. It depends from person to person. Okay, if I would have written in one go, it would have become a little complicated to understand for the new people. Okay, so hence I'm writing the code in a newer line. Okay, cool. So now I'm able to get that. Okay, now the main calculation will be done over here. Now I can do my calculation basis on a window. I can do on a basis of calculation straight away as my T streams are coming. Okay, I can do anything, it's my call. So let's try to do, first I'll try to do a normal thing, then I will try to apply a window option, and I will try to, now what I am mean to say over here. Okay, now let's take an example. The data is being read from the Twitter. Okay, once the data is being read from the Twitter, let's say I have given a window of 10 seconds just to be precise. Okay, so let's say the first 10 seconds data, okay, first 10 seconds data is coming like this. Let's say Saif, let's say Saif, let's say Amit, let's say Saif, let's say Amit. Now what will happen with some computation, what I would be doing is I would be just writing, means I would be making a word count of my Twitter, and I would be just making this as 2. Once the data again starts from the next 20 seconds, okay, so again the data is coming, let's say Akash, let's say Akash, and let's say Sumit. Okay, so after 20 seconds my count would be something like this. Okay, Akash will be 2 and Sumit would be 1. Okay, so this will be a normal streaming data. But what if I want to do on a window, so I want to apply a certain window. What I need to do is, I have given 10 seconds, but in the window of 20 seconds, I need to find out my count. So at that moment of time, what will happen? This count will not be the result ideally. So it will be like Saif, Saif. So here the output would be like Saif would be repeated thrice. Okay. And let's say Saif is also coming over here. So how? So Saif count would be 4 over here now, because the count is from the entire window which is of 20 second, not of 10 second. Okay, so that is the difference between your streaming data and a windowing concept. That's where I'll show you once we see the data. Okay, so let's make a move. Okay, now I have created a key value pair. Once the key value pair is done, okay, so let's try to get some count of it. Okay, so let's try to get some hash count. Okay, so how I will try to get a hash count? Let me copy this. Once I'm trying to do a copy of this, I'm just trying to apply a normal reduce by key function. Okay, so reduce by key, and the next time I will try to apply a reduce by key with a window function. Okay, that's what I will try to do. So let's say x comma y, so that will be nothing but my x plus y. It's just a normal reduce by key which I am trying to apply. Okay, after that what I will try to do is, after I'll try to apply a windowing function. Okay, now once is done, let me just sort the data so that the data will be in a proper format depending on my tweets count, what I'm trying to do. So let me copy this and let me just transform the data. Okay, so let me transform the data xin of, okay, xin of x dot sort by, and whatever I am trying to get as an element, again I need to sort on the basis of count. So that should be the second argument. So x dot, I should take my second argument, that is the second. Okay, and that should be, and let me just give me false. So that should take care of my descending order ascending order sorting. Okay, done. And now, so all my things are being done. Now what I need to do is simply I just need to print the result. Okay, now here the printing of my Twitter will start. Okay, so let me copy this and let me copy this and let's say print. Okay, so once the streaming, now I need to start the streaming data, so I just need to say ssc dot start. Now it is expecting a human intervention which I am trying to give, so I'm just trying to say await termination. Okay, so these are the small things which I have done. So it's just a small program, not a big program and not a complex logic, just trying to read the data from Twitter. Okay, let's understand what we have done. So first we have created one object. In this I have created two methods. One is for logging method and one is to read my credentials. Okay, so I'm trying to read this through a Scala way. So I've done that, and here I'm trying to read the data, tweet the data on certain logic. Okay, so certain logic is being written over here, and I have called my credentials and I have called my logging from this object. Okay, then what I have done is I have initialized my streaming context. Okay, so once I was getting that, it was in the dstreams status. Okay, not this one, this was in status. With the get text method I have converted that to a string. Okay, then split it and etc etc. So let me just execute this now. Hopefully if there are no errors in the program, this should give us some results, and let's see those results. Okay, if you see now, after every 1 second, so something is coming and the data is like tweeting so fast, like Pentagon, Dynamite. So if you see PCAs, whatever around the globe, whatever the data is being tweeted with the hash, so it is being, now we are able to see that. Okay, so whatever the Twitter data which everyone around the globe are trying to tweet it, so we are trying to get those things. Okay, so let me stop this. Okay, now what we'll try to do is we'll just try to twist the code a little bit. Okay, and what we'll try to do is, let me just copy this code and let me just paste this code over here. Okay, now what I will try to do is I will try to apply a window. Okay, so the concept which I explained you, so I want to, on a certain window, let's say for a particular 10 seconds and a 20 seconds, I need to do this computation. I can do that also. What I need to do is simply I just need to write reduce by key. Okay, and window. Okay, so reduce by key, and let me just type it because it is bringing me all my arguments. Okay, so reduce by key and window, and I just need to pass what is the window interval over here. Okay, so I will just say it's like seconds of, let's say 15 seconds. Okay, and it is complaining me something. Is this some error? Yeah, so reduce by key and window is a not member of a string and int. Okay, so string and int. So this is like first thing is I have just mentioned this incorrect. That's why it was giving me an error. Okay, otherwise the syntax is correct. Now what I have done, I have just done some addition of interval on the basis of, see, the data would be tweeted every 1 second, which will be coming as an RDD, but the computation will be happening on a window of 15 seconds. So the data will start streaming. So first second, second second, third second, so on. Once your 15th second data came, all the computation will be on the basis of this. That's what we are trying to do over here. Okay, nothing else. So let me save this and let me execute this. So now the same data would be read. Oh, what is happening now? What is happening is, now on the basis of 15 seconds interval of time, okay, now the data is being computed. Okay, so if you see earlier it was very fast, now it is like after small amount of interval it is trying to do those things. So what we can do is, I'll not be able to show that as of now because due to time constraint, because I need to start my office work as well. So this is like a streaming data. What we have done, we have read around the globe. But what you can do is, let's say I am a user. Let's say Saif is a user on a Twitter account. I can read the data from a particular user also, and what he is tweeting, I can do analysis on the base of that also. Okay, we can go to that minute level also. Okay, that's how your analyzation or your analytics comes into picture. Okay, that's where your streaming data or your real time